There's something magical about the mountains, something inspiring, yet humbling. The Blue Ridge in North Carolina has that extra dose of magic. And tucked in the heart of the Blue Ridge since 1957 is Tweetsie Railroad.
Tweetsie Railroad is a family Wild West theme park located between Boone and Blowing Rock in North Carolina.
Main Street is home not only to the old number 12 locomotive, which is listed on the National Historic Register, but it's also the jumping-off point for all sorts of amazing activities.
The East Tennessee and Western North Carolina Railroad, which was nicknamed Tweetsie by residents who were so used to hearing the tweet-tweet sound echoing through the mountains, was a 3-foot narrow-gauge railroad established back in 1866 for the purpose of serving the mines in Cranberry, North Carolina. The train line was extended to Boone in 1919, but due to flooding from tropical storms, most of the tracks and bridges were wiped out in August 1940. The use of a narrow-gauge rail service was discontinued in 1950 and the locomotives were scrapped or sold. On July 4, 1957, using some of the original assets and one of the original trains from the railway, Tweetsie Railroad became the state's newest and first theme park. The planned excursion train ride was pulled by the steam locomotive number 12. The remaining engine from the original East Tennessee and Western North Carolina Railroad was built in 1917. It has now been operating for over 100 years. The train, which had been sold after the railway's closure, was purchased back by Grover Robbins in August 1955, an entrepreneur from Blowing Rock. 1 mile of track was constructed close to the original end-of-line station in Boone, and it took a scenic trip through the Blue Ridge Mountains. The number 12 took its first trip around the line on opening day. Just a few years later, in 1958, the track was extended to a 3-mile loop around the mountain. Grover Robbins' brother, Harry and Spencer, were also involved in the operation of Tweetsie Railroad, and the park is still controlled and operated by the Robbins family today. Also in 1958, a western town and saloon were built around the original train area. A train robbery and a cowboy and Indian show were added to the train ride, playing off the Wild West theme that was becoming more and more popular at the time.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
The popularity of the park also increased thanks to promotion from local TV celebrity Fred Kirby, who hosted a popular children's TV show and was regularly at the park as he began a 30-year career as the Tweetsie Railroad's marshal. In 1960, Tweetsie acquired its second locomotive. It had become an increasingly popular tourist destination and quickly evolved into North Carolina's first theme park and one of the earliest in the whole of the US. In 1961, inside the train loop on the central mountain, a chairlift was added and a section that would incorporate amusement rides. The offerings would continue to grow over the years with a zoo, more rides, shops, and show offerings. 1970 saw Miners Mountain created, a re-theme of the previous Magic Mountain, and it was designed by Jack Pentus, who also designed another attraction in North Carolina that we might be taking a look at in the future, Land of Oz. In the mid-1970s, Tweetsie opened up a steam locomotive shop and offers maintenance on steam engines throughout the US. They have worked on many different engines, including trains from Walt Disney World and Busch Gardens. The park opens seasonally each year and also offers special events, including visits from Thomas the Tank Engine.
You've chosen a very interesting night to ride. You see, it is the 100th anniversary of the Great Train Wreck of 1913. Yes, that is correct.
The most famous and popular of these began in October 1990, Tweetsie Railroad's Ghost Train. This family-friendly Halloween celebration transforms the park into a haunted attraction with offerings for everyone. Haunted houses, rides in the dark, and shows. There is nothing quite like riding an original steam train into the darkness to see what awaits. In 1961, the Robbins family built another train attraction called Rebel Railroad in the Smoky Mountains. Originally opening with a Civil War theme, the park was renamed Gold Rush Junction in 1966 and gained a Wild West concept. After several owners, it was redeveloped as Silver Dollar City, and in 1986, Dolly Parton became a part owner and the park became known as Dollywood.
Tweetsie Railroad
Tweetsie Railroad offers scenic views, fun rides, and an iconic railway, and is filled with nostalgia. I've covered quite a few Wild West parks from around the world, and I always find them really interesting, and it is nice to see a classic still operating today. Tweetsie is one that still offers that original family fun, and I highly recommend you visit, especially during the Halloween season. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Weekly. If you've been to Tweetsie, please let us know what you think of the park in the comments below, and we will see you next time.
100 years ago, you could see old Tweetsie rolling by. Close your eyes now, don't you see it? Smoking through the Carolina sky.